Hello dear students. Today we have discussed programming language and problem solving computer. So welcome to this class. Problem solving first is the core of computer science. Programming must first understand how a human solve how a human solve a problem when uh, then understand how to translate this algorithm translate this algorithm into something a computer can do. So सॉल्विंग प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि एक कंप्यूटर के द्वारा हल किए जा सके, समाधान दिया जा सके, उसको एक्सिक्यूट कराना, एंड फाइनली हाउ टू राइट द specific syntax. This is required by a computer to get the job done. Thus, problem solving is the process. This is the process of identifying a problem. First, identify a problem and developing an algorithm for the identified problem. First हम problem identify करें and then develop an algorithm for this identified problem, and in step third or finally implementing the algorithm to develop a computer program. So there are numerous programming languages are becoming more general and all purpose, but these languages have their specialties and each language has its own advantage and disadvantage. These are used to control the performance of the computer or machine. Computer programming has many choices to choose the languages. So now, what is programming language? A programming language is a language specifically designed to express computations that can be performed by the computer. So programs control the behavior of a system. Now the usage of programming languages are to create the programs, to express the algorithm, and as a mode of human communication. Now, the construction programming languages have a vocabulary. of syntax and semantics. Vocabulary of syntax and semantics. This vocabulary instructs a computer to perform specific tasks. The term programming language usually refers to high-level languages. The example of high-level languages are Basic, C, C++, COBOL, Fortran, ADA, Pascal. These are high-level languages. All these have a unique set of keywords. अपने अपने कीवर्ड होते हैं इनके, and a specific syntax. हर लैंग्वेज का अपना syntax होता है. What is keywords? Keywords refers words that the language understands. Keywords and specific syntax are organized the program instructions. The high-level programming languages are easy for us or users to read and understand. The computer does not understand the high-level languages. प्रोग्रामर द्वारा लिखी गई हाई लेवल लैंग्वेज को कंप्यूटर रीड नहीं कर सकता. इसके लिए कंप्यूटर को रीड करने के लिए, अंडरस्टैंड के लिए हमें हाई लेवल लैंग्वेज को ट्रांसलेट करना पड़ेगा. सो द कंप्यूटर डज नॉट अंडरस्टैंड द हाई लेवल लैंग्वेज and it understands only machine languages. So what is machine language? The machine language, which consists only of different types of CPU and have their own unique machine languages, and this uses binary digits 0 and 1. And assembly languages are the mediator कह सकते हैं आप, that exists in between machine language and high level language. So assembly language are similar to machine languages but are much easier to process in because they allow a programmer to substitute names for numbers. So this is easy to understand for users, and the program written using only programming language. The program written using any programming languages has to be converted into machine languages so that computer can understand the same. This can be done in two ways: compiler and by interpreters. The type of computer on which the program has to be executed, and the type of program, system programs and application programs, or the expertise of the programmers. These are features to determine the language. And now, creating of program language, there are 5 generations of computer, and in first generation the machine languages were developed. Second generation, these time the languages are assembly languages that are easier than machine language to understand for the programmer or user. Third generation using high level languages, and fourth generation very high level languages, and in fifth generation programming languages are there. Now, compiler. What is compiler? You know, assembly languages are languages between high level language and machine languages. But compilers can be convert the high level languages into machine language to understand the computer. So, what is compiler? Is a translator to translate the instructions written in a high languages into the computer languages. Machine languages such as translated are commonly known as interpreters and compilers. Each high language has many compilers. A compiler is a specific type of programs that a compiler is a specific type of program that transform the source code into machine language. So compiler translates source code into machine language. The resultant code is known as the object code. You can see this schematic diagram. Source program or data to compiler, and if the source code consists errors, then the compiler will not be able to do its intended task, and it gives that error list. Here are two types of errors. First is syntax error, like that spelling mistakes, typing mistakes, illegal characters, and the second one is logical error. This type of error occurs when the program does not function accurately. So, logical errors are much harder to locate and correct than syntax errors. If there is no error, then compiler gives object program, and after executing it gives outputs. Whenever errors are detected in the source code, the compiler generates a list of errors message indicating the type of error and line in which the error has occurred. So programmer can resolve or can solve these errors or correct them, and but logical errors are difficult to correct. Now linkers, also software developed for the real world, usually follows a modular approach. In this approach, a program is divided into various modules as it is easy to code, edit, debug, test, document, and also to maintain them. Module for a program can be used for another program. When a module is compiled, an object file of that module is generated. So once the modules are coded and tested, the object files of all the modules are combined together to form the final executable file. So this is process for linker. Linker, also called link editor or binder, this is a program that combines the object modules to form an executable program. Object modules, after combining, they gives executable programs. So this is process or functioning of linker. Usually the compiler automatically invokes the linker as the last step in compiling a program. Now what is loader? A loader is a special type of program that copies programs from a storage device to the main memory where they can be executed. So storage devices to programs को कॉपी करने के लिए to main memory, these are known to loader. Now the problem is that how a compiler work. Compilers, like other programs, stored in the secondary memory. These compilers or other programs are stored in secondary memory. To translate a source code into its executable machine language code, the compiler first loads the compiler and the source programs from the secondary memory to the main memory, and the computer then executes the compiler along with the source programs as its input, and the output of this execution is a object which is also stored on the secondary storage. Whenever the program has to be executed, the compiler loads the object file into main memory and execute it. So this is process that how a compiler works. So friends, this is our today's lesson, in which we have discussed loader, linker, what is compiler, and what are the high level languages or generations using computer languages, and what is assembly language. We have discussed machine languages, and what is programming language and problem solve.